Hello, today we are going to paint a girl. It's a Blythe doll in a slightly new style with a new color palette that I have been experimenting with. I will go ahead and leave all the details about the supplies that I use at the very end of this video so you can get straight into the painting. So if that's what you're interested in, just go ahead and skip to the end. Otherwise, we'll get started painting. I've gone ahead and I've drawn my girl in with a water-soluble pink pencil, the pink Eno, but you could also use, if you didn't have that on hand, just a watercolor pencil. And I am using my new palette that I've put together. These are all Primacolors except for I have one fluorescent yellow. It actually came from Aloha, but you could use any fluorescent yellow from anywhere, though Aloha's paints are great. And I will try to put links for everything in the description. So right now I am just going through and I'm beginning masking colors. I've put my color palette here on the side so you can see where I'm going a little bit with the colors. I'm just getting a little beginning color in there. You know, I want those dots in the middle to remain white. So I'm going to take a glaze pen, make sure it's primed, just go right in there where I want my white dots. Maybe put a few extra. I'm gonna leave that alone until it dries. Some of this I'll be able to redefine a little bit with a red pen, so I'm not worried too much about how the details are looking. Let's see. Really, I have a photo I pulled from, and I'm really trying to figure out where some of these shadows fall. Be a little shadow here, but that's gonna appear as white. It's okay if a little blue gets in her face. In fact, I'm gonna take a little blue and put it over here on purpose to kind of have some cast color. And I know her eyes look a little odd, but we've done this on purpose. I want this red to be in the pupil because I'm gonna come back in with some blue pen and just really, it'll pop. And just building up, looking at my picture. My purples are my darkest spots. My reds are my middle spots. Really, she'd have like some cheek color in there. Kind of let that move around a little bit. All right, well, that's a good first pass. I'm going to allow this to completely dry. You can use a fan. Just moving a little color around, but I don't think I blended as well as I would like. Can use a fan. I don't use a hair dryer anymore. I ruined some paper that way. When you get the paper too hot, it affects the sizing, it doesn't accept the watercolor properly anymore, and it dulls your colors. So I'm gonna let this dry and be back with you in a few minutes. Okay, so I've gone through and I've made sure that my girl is completely dry, because you want her very dry for this section. And I am just using a red and a blue ballpoint pen. I like these orange ones because they have a fine tip, but I believe that the Bic Crystal Clear also comes in a fine tip. I just recommend the fine tip for this. I'm coming in with I'm going to be switching back and forth with the red and the blue one, and this will really start to bring it together. The only thing I did while I was drawing is I noticed there were some hard edges like this appearing in the face. So I took a soft watercolor brush that was just a little bit damp, a clean one, and I just blended out the edges real gently with water to make sure. So there's some hard edges. This purple is staining. There's just nothing. That's just how it's going to be. And I definitely left hard edges down here, but here I wanted a nice skin blend, so we can come in with the pen. And I'm going to be going back and forth between the red and the blue pen, just layering on top and really, really trying to bring the face and body together. This is kind of step 2 in the way I've been working recently. And I'm going to work all over. I'm going to work in the face, I'm going to work in the hair. Ballpoint pen can be layered. It needs to be ballpoint rather than liquid or gel ink. They just kind of act a little differently. But ballpoint pen can be beautifully layered. And when you add this red on top of red, I think it just really pops. And when I'm working in the hair, I'm making sure that all of my strokes go in the direction that the hair would go in. So since my hair goes down like this, I would not want to go like that. Even though that's a beautiful shading technique, in the hair, that'll give the illusion of not hair. Just want to make sure that wherever you're erasing, everything is dry so that you're not moving the color. And any lines that I really liked, can go and bring back. But I'm going to bring back with that blue pen for the bottom of her body because I don't want all that pink in there. And this, it's not a perfect process. There's just going to be a little bit of pink, but that's okay. Getting rid of the majority of that pink. And I kind of like that there are some bits that are just implied, so I'm going to leave a lot of that alone. But if you want yours defined, just go back in with your blue pen or even a blue watercolor pencil or the blue Anino, any of those would work. Again, I'm just really bouncing around this picture. Eventually I gotta get her eyes completely in and define her face a little better. Now we're going to bring in the blue, and you'll see this will really pop the eyes and make them look less bizarre. That pupil would really be black. So, but I'm being careful to kind of leave a little bit of that red in there. I think it gives it a little depth. But where I want the darkest is up against the edge of the eye. You can see here you get some bright blue where it didn't have red. Let's bring the red back in. There's a darker edge around the edge of her pupil in this case. You see, instead of looking blue, I've got this beautiful dark color because I've layered my red underneath. I'm going to go in and kind of just give some texture to the iris, both coming out from the middle of the pupil. Sometimes the lines extend the whole way, sometimes they're just part. Let's see. Just gonna do the same thing we did, and notice I didn't go over the line all the way down here. I want mine to just be red there and then dark up here. my chance now to kind of just go back in wherever I feel strongly and layer a little more color. Now, I think I've gotten her where I like her. I'm gonna do the scary thing. You have two options for this. I like to add some highlighters, 3 really. You could just skip this step. You could use a highlighter watercolor or a highlighter pencil. I currently love the Fluo Caran d'Ache. They're big and fat. They come in like 4 colors. But I'm gonna just try just a little bit of watercolor. And there's a chance. Sometimes this comes out well and sometimes I think it doesn't, but that's okay. I'm just getting a little bit on here and running it down. And there we go. My girl is done. I'm gonna let her dry, and happy painting. I will see you again next time. Okay, let's talk about supplies. This is actually my favorite part when I watch other people's videos. I love to see what other people use and get inspired by that. First of all, I should let you know, I didn't buy anything. No, that's wrong. I did buy. I bought one thing of watercolors, and that's actually because I had those watercolors, but I had completely used some of them. So I bought one thing of watercolors to put this together. My best recommendation is always use what you have on hand. Sometimes you can really move things around to make it fit a new palette. So this palette is minus this highlighter color. They're all Prima Marketing watercolor confections. They come from Amazon. I bought 4 tins. They're Classic, Tropical, Pastel Dreams, and Complexion. I love them. They're not as great as Daniel Smith quality-wise, but it's a unique color combination. I had them on hand. I had bought over the last few years, just sitting in the back, so I put them together in a bigger palette that I bought empty on Amazon. This palette is actually inspired by Zeke's Lunchbox. I'll also link her. She does fabulous, beautiful, bright, colorful work. What I added in here is an Aloha fluorescent yellow watercolor. There are several people who make fluorescent watercolors. They're all lovely. I want to actually buy a few more to add in here, but right now all I have is the yellow. Then my next item that I've been using are these Caran d'Ache Fluo pencils. They're beautiful. They come in these 4 colors. They're very soft, they're fat. You'll need to get a special pencil sharpener to sharpen them. As you can see, I've been using them kind of dull, but I have one somewhere. The next thing is Bic ballpoint pens. These are the key. You can use any watercolors and just add in Bics. These are the Bic orange. I think the Bic crystal tend to be a little easier to get. Anything is fine. I like the fine tip. I use red and blue. And then this is a glaze pen. Again, all from Amazon. And this is what I've been doing a lot of sketching with, and sometimes I go back in. I like to sketch the most with the pink. I bought this big set a while ago, and I've really been using them. I've gotten all the refills, and I even had to get refill erasers. These are Pilot Color Eno 0.7s, so it'll be a little bit more detailed than sketching with a watercolor pencil, but these are all water soluble, so I can sketch. If I were doing an all blue girl, I'd sketch in like a blue or something orange. And this way, when I use water, a lot of these lines really go away and you don't notice them anymore, which is what I like about it. And the other thing, just in case you were wondering, this eraser, I like it. There are plenty of great erasers. This is just the Caran d'Ache Technique eraser. There are plenty of good ones out there. Anyways, so that's where we are with where I am at with my color palette. I'm mostly using these two bottom rows, the reds, the purples, the greens, and the blues. I use a little bit of these bright oranges, and I'll be honest, the rest of this I've been leaving alone for my new technique. I've been mostly working with these just bright, bold colors. I hope that's helpful and exciting. Happy arting, and I'll see you again next time.